Last night, you probably dreamed about something falling, or being chased, or showing up somewhere without your clothes on. You woke up, shook it off, and called it random.
Huh?
It wasn't random. Your brain was running a program it has been running for at least 200,000 years. And the strange part is, the program wasn't built for you. It was built for someone standing in tall grass, scanning the horizon for a predator. Here's the question nobody really asks. What did the first humans dream about? Not in some vague, mystical sense. Literally, what images moved through their minds while their bodies lay still in the dark, vulnerable, blind, exposed? For most of human history, sleep wasn't a luxury. It was a 6 to 8 hour window of total defenselessness. No claws, no sharp teeth, no night vision. Just a soft body lying on the ground while lions, hyenas, and rival humans moved through the dark. So why would evolution allow you to spend a third of your life unconscious? That should have been selected against almost immediately. A sleeping human is a meal. And yet here you are, still doing it, every single night. The answer might be hiding inside the dreams themselves. In the year 2000, a Finnish cognitive scientist named Antti Revonsuo proposed something that sounds almost too simple. He suggested dreaming isn't a glitch, and it isn't your subconscious working through your day. He called it the threat simulation theory. The idea is this: dreaming is a flight simulator for danger. While your body lies still and safe, your brain runs rehearsals. It builds threats out of nothing. It chases you, traps you, drowns you, strands you on a cliff edge. And every time you escape, even in your sleep, you are practicing the exact neural pathways you would need to survive that situation while awake. Think about your own dreams for a second. Have you ever dreamed about a difficult exam or a presentation you weren't ready for? Have you ever dreamed about losing your footing on a high ledge, falling, drowning, being hunted by something with no clear shape? These aren't creative inventions. They are ancient. They are the same handful of scenarios humans have been dreaming for tens of thousands of years, because they're the same handful of scenarios that used to actually kill people. Revonsuo and his colleagues tested this. They studied the dreams of children living in war zones, comparing them to children growing up in safety. The pattern was almost too clean. Children exposed to real, constant danger had dreams packed with more threats and more severe ones than children who felt safe. Their brains weren't randomly generating nightmares. They were calibrating. The more dangerous your waking world, the more your sleeping mind rehearses surviving it. So picture an early human, 40,000 years ago, sleeping near a fire with the rest of the group. Outside that ring of light is everything that could kill her. A predator's silhouette, a sound in the brush, a rival group passing through territory that isn't theirs. Her body is asleep, but somewhere behind her closed eyes, her brain is still working. Building scenarios. A shape lunging from the dark, running and not being able to run fast enough, hiding and being found anyway. It feels like nonsense in the morning. But it wasn't nonsense. It was training data. Here's where it gets stranger. This theory would explain something that has puzzled dream researchers for decades. No matter where you go in the world, no matter the culture, the language, the century, certain dream themes show up again and again. Falling, being chased, teeth falling out, drowning, showing up in public exposed or unprepared. A team led by the psychologist Calvin Hall spent years cataloging thousands of dream reports from radically different cultures, and the overlap was undeniable. Strip away the local symbols, the specific monsters, the specific gods, and you find the same skeleton underneath. Threat, vulnerability, escape. Why would that be universal? Because the dangers that shaped it were universal. Falling from a height was a real way to die for a creature that climbed trees and crossed uneven, dangerous terrain on two unstable legs. Being chased was the literal experience of being prey. Losing your teeth meant losing your ability to eat, which in a world without dentists or soft food was close to a death sentence. These aren't metaphors your modern brain invented for psychological drama. They are fossils. Behavioral fossils, preserved not in stone, but in the architecture of your nervous system. There's a researcher named G. William Domhoff who spent decades building on this idea. arguing that dreams reflect what he called your waking concerns, just translated into a different language. Not symbols requiring some cryptic decoder, just your brain, replaying the things that matter most to your survival and your social standing with the volume turned up. For your ancestors, that meant predators, starvation, exile from the group. For you, it means the version of those same threats that still exist today. Being chased now might be a deadline you can't outrun. Falling might be the fear of losing your job, your status, your footing in a system you don't fully control. Showing up unprepared might be the dream version of imposter syndrome, the fear of being exposed as not enough in front of people whose approval used to determine whether you ate that week. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a saber-toothed cat and a bad performance review. Both register as the same primal flag. Threat detected. Rehearse the escape. This is also why children, statistically, have more nightmares than adults. Their brains are still calibrating the threat model, still learning what's dangerous and what isn't. A child's dreaming mind is essentially running a more aggressive version of the ancient software because a child, evolutionarily speaking, is the most vulnerable member of the group. The smallest, the slowest, the least able to defend themselves. So their dreams compensate by rehearsing danger more intensely until the nervous system has enough data to calm down. So if dreaming is a survival simulator, what happens when there's nothing left to simulate? Modern life, for most people watching this, doesn't involve real predators. No lions in the grass. No genuine nightly risk of being hunted. And yet, the dreams haven't stopped. They've just changed shape. Because the system isn't looking for lions specifically, it's looking for threat, broadly defined. Social rejection, failure, loss of control, public embarrassment. To an ancient brain wired by hundreds of thousands of years of small, tightly bonded survival groups, social exclusion wasn't a minor inconvenience. Being cast out of the group meant facing predators and starvation completely alone. So your brain still treats social threat with almost the same intensity it once reserved for physical danger. That's why the dream where you're unprepared in front of a crowd can leave you just as shaken as a chase scene. Your nervous system isn't being dramatic, it's being consistent. It has simply swapped the predator for the audience. There's something almost moving about this if you sit with it. Every night, your brain still performs a ritual that belonged to a different world. A world of fire circles and open plains and real teeth in the dark. It doesn't know that world is gone. It just keeps running the only program it has ever known, quietly rehearsing your survival, scenario after scenario, while you lie there completely unaware of the work being done on your behalf. Some researchers push this even further, suggesting dreaming isn't only about danger, but about strengthening memory and emotional regulation more broadly. The simulations aren't just threats. Sometimes they're rehearsals for social bonding, for navigating relationships, for processing the emotional residue of your day. But the through line stays the same. Your dreaming brain isn't idle. It's working. It's just working on problems that, for your ancestors, were often matters of life and death. So the next time you wake up from a dream where you were falling or running or standing in front of people without knowing your lines, consider where that script actually came from. It didn't come from nowhere. It came from a long, unbroken chain of ancestors who survived long enough to dream that exact dream and pass the wiring down to you. Every nightmare is, in a strange way, a kind of inheritance. Proof that somewhere back along that chain, someone's brain ran the simulation correctly enough, often enough, to make it to morning. Tonight, when you fall asleep, your brain will do what it has always done. It will scan your life for threats, real or symbolic, and quietly rehearse your way through them one more time, just in case. You won't remember most of it. You rarely do. But somewhere underneath the dream you forget by breakfast, the oldest part of your mind is still doing the only job it has ever had, keeping you alive, one rehearsal at a time, long after the lions disappeared from your story.